This is Benzinga Live. Spencer Israel and producer AB. What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Someone told me buy high, sell higher.
Let's get Matt Hammond on the show to talk some IPOs. Jake Wojacek from Trend Spider. We have a
breaking news. Hump Day! Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Benzinga Live. I'm your host, producer AB. As you can see, we've got up here pulled on the screen Google. Google stock, biggest news of the day so far, reported earnings after the close yesterday. Stock dropped a bunch, more than 10, stock opened down about 8-9% today. But as you can see here, this is where we opened, 9:30. Stock's been moving higher since then. Stock opened, got as low. The intraday low for Google stock is 95.37. We've gotten all the way back up to about 98.25 right now. So you are seeing a lot of the big tech names, including Google and Microsoft, the two biggest names that reported yesterday, moving higher since the open. So the trend, or at least over the last week or so, has been pretty strong. We opened lower, but that trend kept going. So it seemed like today was, today's been kind of a confirmation of the trend so far. Hasn't been what a lot of people expected. Okay, not great earnings in Google and Microsoft means the whole market's going to dump today. That's not what we're seeing at all. Qs are down 0.3%, sure, but the S&P 500 is up more than 0.5%. The Dow Industrial Average is up 0.9%. Even the IWM, the Russell 2000, is up 2%. So a lot of people thought, okay, bad earnings, we're probably going to dump today, not a great day. Hasn't really been the case. No, I did not bet on Fetterman. I did say that I thought that the debate last night was going to be pivotal, be, deciding in that race, which it does look like it, but it just looks like it's going to be in Oz's favor. A lot of questions to be asked there, definitely by Fetterman's camp about why they thought that was going to be a good idea. But yeah, no, it certainly didn't. We can check out the predicted markets today. I mean, I know we can. I assume Oz took a big, Oz was, look at this. Oz took a huge jump here. The one thing they had on here that was for the outcome of, right here, the balance of power. So I was saying that I think there were, because of the different Senate races that are kind of coin flips right now, like the Georgia one looks like a coin flip, the Pennsylvania one did look like a coin flip. Now it looks like it's pretty convincing going to go Oz's way. But considering some of them are still up in the air, I did think that in this particular market on Predicted, the Republican House, Democratic Senate, not that I think that's likely. I just, as far as how it's priced right now, I do think there is, I don't know, I guess I have to look at and see how it all, if Herschel Walker loses in Georgia, but Oz wins in Pennsylvania, who controls the Senate at that point? I don't even know. So I would have to look into that. But yeah. What up, Richard Judge? We're talking about betting on some politics right now in the political elections. Which party will win the Senate? So yeah, as you can see, it looks all pretty. So maybe it's Democrats need to win in Georgia and Arizona, and then they keep control of the Senate. Is that the case, or is it if Oz wins, is it automatically they don't have a shot to control the Senate? I honestly don't. I don't even know. But yeah, so it looks like your biggest coin flips as far as Senate right now are in Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. The rest, at least the market's saying, are pretty decided, right? 86 cents. I guess Nevada's somewhat up in the air. It seems like the Democratic candidate in Nevada is trending upward. But for the most part, I think those are going to be your big elections. Obviously, Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania. It's a Fetterman market rally. I don't know. I know typically if Yeah, I don't really think I don't think so either. I don't even know. I'm not even convinced, honestly, that the market, like, I think typically, like, conventional wisdom, the market does well when Republicans are elected, right? Like, deregulation, pro-business policies are good for the market. But I don't know, like what about when we passed like the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, and like stocks went ripping? Are those like clean energy stocks that went up because of that bill then going to go down? If I don't know, I don't know if it's as simple as okay, the Republicans win the midterm, the market starts ripping. Maybe it is. I have no clue. Um, but I know in recent history the market hasn't always responded like that, like we would think, right? Whether it's okay, the market ripping after Biden won in 2020, or these different things that I don't know. I don't think that specific trend of okay, Republicans win an election equals market being up is 100% correlated over the past 20 years or whatever. I don't think it's been that correlated. I don't know though. Again, could it have something to do with Fetterman? Sure, I don't know. Let's go back to Benzinga Pro though and talk specific stocks. So why is Google trading down so much? There were a lot of problems in the report yesterday that left a lot to be desired, but it wasn't so bad in the sense that you're not going to have people coming up and buying it here. And we'll go through kind of the key points in the report here on Benzinga Pro. Scroll back down to when the numbers actually came out yesterday. So Google, YouTube, Google search hit by ad pullback. So that was the thing that I talked about before the earnings. That's what I was worried about. On the Q2 call, we noted a pullback in spend by some advertisers on YouTube network, and these pullbacks increased in the third quarter. So essentially, Google gave warnings in Q2 earnings saying, okay, advertising spending is slowing down, and gave confirmation in the third quarter that this slowdown in ad spending got even worse in the third quarter. Looks to the fourth quarter, based on the strengthening of the U.S. dollar, we expect an even larger headwind from foreign exchange. So basically, these problems they've been dealing with, they're saying, okay, we don't see a light at the end of the tunnel right now. In fact, we actually expect them to get worse going into the fourth quarter. So it makes sense that Google's stock is trading down so much, even though, the expectation was already for a not great report. Yeah, 100%, Brian. That's what I was saying. Like the trend has been strength in the markets the past like week or so. Today is confirmation of that, not a bucking of the trend. And then going over to Microsoft. Microsoft saw its slowest revenue growth in 5 years. I think there was weakness in Azure, the cloud storage. Holy cow, Microsoft just strong as hell. I mean, not strong as hell like today. It's still down 5%, but holy cow, look at these 5-minute candles the past like hour or so. Just going straight from 232 to 238. I mean, the fact that the Qs, the NASDAQ 100, is about to go green on the day, right after Google and Microsoft reported those earnings reports last night, is showing me, is giving me conviction. And I'm not saying that, okay, today's price action is that important or means anything, but this is what I've been talking about, is that when you start seeing stocks that give bad news, bad guidance, bad reports, and the stocks don't go down that much, or they start coming back up like what we're seeing in Google and Microsoft, that's showing me that the market, the stocks themselves are down at a price where the market's saying, okay, yeah, we're willing to take on some risk here, even if things aren't going well at the company. Microsoft down at 238, even while their revenue's slowing. Yeah, stock's been beaten up enough. It shows me that they're close, if not already at those bottoms. And speaking of yesterday, holy cow, Baba up 9% today. Yesterday, I talked about this with Alibaba, that you could tell. So Monday, And if you're, you haven't been paying attention this week, or you're just catching up on news, so over the weekend there was a lot of signs essentially that China's President Xi kind of took his power over the third term in China, and that he was consolidating power, essentially going more on the spectrum of free market or not free market. The idea was that China was moving more toward not free market. They were going more communist, more dictator, whatever. So all the Chinese stocks were just dumping. And you can see here on the bottom, on Monday when Alibaba was down more than 15% or whatever, the volume bar was huge. Over 100 million shares of BABA traded, when last week the average was like 20 million. So 5 times the amount of shares were traded on Monday, which is understandable. It's expected when you have a huge drop like that in a stock. Anytime you go back and you see, and not just individual stocks, right? Even if you go to ETFs or whatever, like in March 2020 when the markets were crashing, the highest volume were on those days where the market was dumping a lot. You have more buying, more selling. But yesterday, this is what got me interested. BABA was never really trading down more than like 1% yesterday. Like it wasn't trading higher, but it was kind of just flat. But the volume bar was huge again. You had 70 million shares of BABA traded yesterday, a huge volume increase while the stock wasn't moving a lot. Why is that important? Because when you see a stock spike on volume, get higher than average volume while the stock's not moving lower, it can be a bullish indicator. I'm not saying that 100% it was that, okay, because Alibaba's volume was higher yesterday and the stock didn't go down, that's why the stock's up today. But you can see now stock up 9%. I saw that as a sign, okay, this could be the bottom in BABA, right? When you see that huge volume increase without the stock moving lower. Run up to FOMC. Yeah, and I mean that's the one thing that kind of scares me right now about this rally is that Powell and the Fed are just going to look at this and be like, LOL, like you guys, like what are you guys doing? Did we say we're changing our mind? No. So what are you guys doing? Like why are you doing this? And in fact, the more the market goes up, the more Powell's likely to want to, bring it back down to try to cool inflation. So I don't think we're out of the woods here. I think we're still worried about the Fed. I think the Fed, every single day we wake up, every single day we do this show, I come into the office, we're one day closer to the Fed having to pivot, having to, if not pivot, give some sort of recognition that, okay, inflation does look like it's starting to slow down in certain areas. We're going to start looking at the economic impacts of what we could have by raising rates. I've seen a lot of economists basically say, okay, the bond market has priced out the most, not egregious, the most aggressive rate hikes, right? If you look at like the potential dot plots for where the federal fund rates are going, the high end on that spectrum has now been priced out by bond markets. So there are things I think that we can point to that show us, okay, maybe we're getting closer to being out of the woods. Again, not saying we're out of the woods yet, but every single day we're one day closer to the Fed having to get to that pivot point. Market rallied and pumped, next week going to tank. Maybe. It's certainly possible. It's certainly possible the market keeps going up next week too and then tanks after that. Or it keeps going up next week and then levels out after that and doesn't do anything for a month. Like, we don't know. If any of us knew, GBZ Ninjas, what the market was going to do, we'd be gazillionaires. I could bring Warren Buffett on the show right now and ask him what the market's going to do this week and next week, and he would tell you, I don't know, and he'd be silly making any predictions. I don't think it's true that rates aren't hurting people. I think so far our economy has been strong enough that it's been able to withstand these rate hikes, pretty much take them in. If our economy was a boxer, it's essentially just been eating these punches and taking them on the chin. Whereas I don't know. I mean, today it looks like there's a lot of inflows going into China names. KWeb up 9%. I mean, eventually, like, right, there's like, I think a lot of investors know the risk in China, but eventually there are going to be investors that are willing to take on that risk for an investment. Um, but yeah, I mean, if our economy, I was going to say, if our economy is a boxer, so far it's just been taking these punches, the interest rate hikes off the chin, not even like sneezing at them, whereas the Fed wants to see the economy get knocked down, and it hasn't happened yet. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know the economic condition in China right now. I know Elon Musk talked about there being some sort of recession there, that Tesla's going to sell less cars and stuff. Again, I'm not I don't know. I mean, I don't even I personally don't even have any positions in any of these names. As far as Baba right now, I sold my Baba position a while ago. I sold, whatever. But myself, and a bunch of other people, including Michael Burry, are getting to a point where we're like, okay, do we really think, China? Here's my thing. Is I get it, like there's a lot of anti-China sentiment among people, but at the end of the day, like that anti-China sentiment isn't really shared by our business leaders and politicians, at least in the sense that like China's still our biggest business partner. Different companies, even Tesla and Elon Musk, like he's willing to make certain concessions to have access to that Chinese market because it's so big and so pertinent, just like other companies, have manufacturing arms, et cetera. So I don't, think really basically any huge trade war we have with China, any big fallout will have economic repercussions beyond just these Chinese names. So, like people that are like, well, I'm bullish US equities, but I think China names are going to go down. It's like those US equities, right? Apple is going to get hit too if we have a full trade war with China and kill all business dealings with China. Will it go down as much as the Chinese names? No, of course not. But it's still going to go down. We would still see stocks get absolutely hit in that scenario. And again, like Michael Burry, some of these other Charlie Munger value investors are now looking over here. And that's all it is. I mean, investing, if you want to boil it down, is as simple as like risk reward. And they're saying, yeah, we think there's a positive risk versus reward return here, that the reward we could get for putting out this risk outweighs that risk we're paying for, right? If I buy 100 shares of Baba here, it's because I think that my potential reward, my potential return outweighs the risk of what I could lose in that investment. Copper's been having a good day today. SCCO is probably my favorite copper name, the Southern Copper mining company. Good dividend, good valuation to me. Copper, I actually think it is super interesting as far as a long-term investment, right? We talk about different precious metals getting a lot of love, whether it's palladium, lithium, you name it, cobalt, gold. But copper, to me, is the most interesting. There's a good Odd Lots podcast. Shout out my boy Joey W over there at Bloomby. But good Odd Lots podcast about copper. And if you listen to it, I'm not saying you're going to want to like dump all your money into different copper investments, but you come out of it being like, yeah, after hearing all that information, it probably is smart to invest into some copper names. How about that mining royalty company we had on yesterday? Pretty interesting. One stock doing well today that Luke and I have actually talked on this show about as a potential short. Dave and Buster's having a great day, up 4%. I don't think this is based on earnings or anything like that. But Dave and Buster's stock's doing pretty well over the past couple weeks. You can see here we hit bottoms of $30 up to like 40 now. This is why I like the short thesis on Dave and Buster's. is if you do think, okay, as rates increase, we are going to see a overall slowdown in consumer spending. You want to ask yourselves, what areas are the first areas to get hit by a drop in consumer spending? Is it at the grocery store? No, probably not. Is it at the gas pumps? No, probably not. Is it on people's Netflix subscriptions? Maybe. I've been arguing no, and we can get to that as well. Is it at Dave and Buster's? Probably, right? If you're taking your kids out for a nice day at Dave and Buster's, that's expensive. You're talking about, what? $30 on food, $50 on the play card, all this stuff. There are a lot cheaper options in ways of entertaining kids for the day. Copper tends to drop in price going into a recession. What commodities do not drop in price going into a recession? Copper is your favorite metal shell? You should listen to the, let me try to find it. Copper Odd Lots podcast. I'm so good at Googling things. I'll drop the link in here for y'all folks. Really? Oil prices don't go down in recessions? It's also like oil with the way the oil is probably different than a lot of other commodities where they really the OPEC countries really have such a control on the supply that they have way more pricing power, in the sense that whenever the economy does slow down and there's a global if there's a global recession or global slowdown in the economy that brings demand down for oil, what does OPEC do? It cuts production to prop up the price, right? So like if you're saying, okay, oil doesn't go down price-wise in a recession, and it's only because they're cutting production to, that's not really, like price is falling there, demand is falling there. They're just trying to find that equilibrium price by then cutting production. I don't think there are any commodities that don't go down in a recession. SPY is up, but Google, Microsoft, Apple down. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, even what's more oh man, right when I said, guys, why do you guys let me do this? Why do you guys let me jinx the market like this? I just said the Qs were going to go green, and then we get this big reversal. Yeah, I mean, it's showing you, right? The strength is not in tech today. Look at Dow. Look at Burke B. All green, while your Microsofts, your Apples are down on the day. I mean, Apple's holding up. I do not expect, by the way, I'm a huge fan of Apple, the products, maybe a bigger fan of the stock. I've got a lot of my net worth baked into Apple stock. I'm not expecting a great report. But that's the thing, is I can expect beer. Oh, commodity-wise? Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if does beer count as a commodity? Is there like a commodity futures beer trade? Like, I don't know. Here, I do have another thought about, small caps too. We talked about that. IWM being up 2%. Yeah, Jade Rice, I don't think anyone thinks that Microsoft, Meta, Google are not the entire market. But typically over the past, 10 years, there's been a correlation to where when those biggest names are up, the market's up and vice versa. So today, it's just noteworthy that the strength is obviously not in these big tech names and in other names. Small caps doing well. We looked at the IWM being up 2%, outperforming the overall market, which, the small caps have been getting beaten up way more than the overall market. So when the market does come back around, there is a safe assumption that, okay, the small caps might outperform. Yeah, all risk on here. And I think that's just, you're seeing that trend. And what my point with Apple was, I'm not expecting a great report from Apple, but I could be exactly right about the report not being great and then wrong about the stock reaction, right? The reaction could be it's always sunny in XLE land. Tesla. Let's check out Tesla. How's old Tesla doing today? I mean, I'm curious how the stock reacts to whenever Elon announces or whenever the filing comes out for exactly how much Tesla stock he's going to have to sell for the Twitter deal. Because here's the thing, the market knows it's coming as part of being priced in. So I'd be shocked if like they announce, okay, Elon's selling 10 billion worth of Tesla stock tomorrow. Like, is that gonna make the stock go down 5% on something that we already know is going to happen? Maybe. I'm not quite sure. $1 for a beer versus $1 for a water that tastes of plastic. Where are you finding dollar beers? I mean, I guess if you buy like a 30 rack of Bud Lights, it's less than $1 a beer. Well, I noticed this the other day. I've never bought non-alcoholic beer, and it makes sense because I'm sure the cost for like a Sam's, like a Boston beer company, I'm sure the cost for them to produce a 6-pack of non-alcoholic Sam Adams beer is pretty similar to the cost for them to produce a 6-pack of alcoholic beer, right? Between the production, the bottling, the shipping, everything. But it's kind of bullshit, and I noticed this at the grocery store the other day. It's kind of bullshit. The non-alcoholic beers are the same prices as the alcoholic beers. Like if I was sober and didn't drink, and I had to buy non-alcoholic beer that was the same price as like regular beer, I'd be a little pissed off. Oh, dude, yeah. Trader Joe's in general, like, people, their alcohol selection, like, very, very cost efficient, right? People talk about their wine a lot, like the $2 chuck, which isn't $2 anymore, by the way. But the beer, 100% is like, and seasonally too, they'll have different, Oktoberfest, wintertime IPAs, etc. And they're all usually, like you said, like $5 for a 6-pack or something crazy, and they're good. Trader Joe's is cool. And I always like grew up thinking Trader Joe's was like a super expensive bougie store. You go there and shit's pretty reasonably priced. It's like a nicer Aldi's. I also always thought Trader Joe's and Aldi's were owned by the same person. That's not true either. Aldi's is, I guess they were started by brothers, but they're not the same. 30-pack of Bud Light, 1998. That's what we like to hear. Bree, are you an alcoholic? No, not at all. Dude, speaking of that, I don't know if you guys saw this, but this chart was going around Twitter like a couple of weeks ago of someone, it was like the top 10% of drinkers drink like 90% of the drinks, and the top 10% of drinkers, let me just try to find the chart because I couldn't believe this. Top 10% of drinkers. Yeah, here it is. 30% of American adults don't drink at all. Another 30% consume on average less than 1 drink per week. On the other hand, the top 10% of Americans, 24 million of them, consume an average of 74 drinks per week, or a little bit more than 10 drinks a day. Here's the thing. There are a lot of really scary addictions and whatnot, like out there. Like, I think a lot of us... I think a lot of us probably know someone or like have a loved one that's been affected by some sort of like opioid addiction, etc. It's been a big problem in the United States. There, to me, is nothing like, if you've seen someone in true like late stage alcoholism, like it's a very, very scary thing. And like this stat is saying, there are more than, I don't even know if I believe this is true. Like, where is this coming from? Washington Post wonk blog, source paying the tab by Philip Cook. Like, this is saying that there are 24 million of them that consume on average more than 10 drinks a day. That is insane. And I trust me, I do know like people that are in this kind of late stage of alcoholism. Like, it's very common to like wake up and take like 2 shots of like, so I get it, I guess, but not that I understand. I'm saying I get the numbers wise, like how it could be true. But that's just absolutely insane to me. I could not imagine. I couldn't drink 10 drinks a day for like 3 days in a row, let alone every single day. Like a stock gambling addiction, probably. It's probably the same that the top like 10% of the top like decile of traders trade X amount compared to like, most people probably make like 1 or 2 stock transactions a year. Yeah, I mean, it's a really tough thing. I hope people don't, aren't dealing with that or having a loved one that is, because yeah, I don't even know. Like, do you know how hard that is from like physically, from like a body standpoint, to go from drinking that much to try to like stop drinking altogether? I'm probably like somewhere in between this 8th and 9th decile. Because like if I go out on a weekend night or something, probably about like 5 or 6 drinks that night, probably on average. Also, it's like I feel like 2. What Aaron's looking at, I feel like 2. Like talking about like light beers. Like if you're talking about like how many Bud Lights like you could drink in a day, like tailgating or something, like you could easily get up into like but I wouldn't even like if someone told me they had like 10 Bud Lights throughout a whole day where they were tailgating and stuff, like I wouldn't consider that like that crazy or like binge drinking, because there's a difference. If they told me 10 vodkas, sure, that'd be crazy. All right. I don't even know how we got on this subject, to be honest. I was talking about non-alcoholic beer being the same price as alcoholic beer. I only drink at 2 times 1 when I'm alone, 2 when I'm with some. I don't understand that. What that means. All right. Let's bring on our. I see my buddy Zunaid hanging out backstage. Let's bring Zunaid on. See what he's been. See what he's been watching. See what he's been trading. Let's give him our special intro. What up, man?
What is up?
Man, you're eating on the stream?
I'm sorry. It's lunchtime. You asked me to come on.
Yeah, you're right. How you doing?
You brought me on in such a bad time. I got to finish this bite now. You
All
keep
right,
talking. I'll be back in 30.
I'll take you off. Yeah. All right. Zunaid's going to come back on when he finishes his lunch. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what you guys, well, let me know what you guys are trading the most. I see Jay, or was it Jay, talking about selling some calls on Amazon. Let's go ahead and pull my Benzinga Pro back up. I'm curious to see if we're still bleeding on the Qs, or if we're coming back a little bit. There we go. What up, Zunaid?
What up? I'm back and not chewing, so we looking good.
Yeah, it looks like the Qs are coming back a little bit.
I'm bringing. Never mind. Not gonna do there. Not gonna go there.
There's some strength. How are you feeling? Are you bullish, bearish, Zunaid?
At the moment, I'm gonna short for Meta. Let me actually check something. Yeah, it depends on how this candle closes.
Yeah, I mean,
but
like, how
I'm
could
short.
we saw Snapchat report, Meta moved down off that. We saw Google report yesterday and talk a lot about ad sales being down. Meta moved down off of that. Meta is probably the closest in terms of just Google's ad business. Like, Facebook's a very, very close competitor. We know Facebook's been getting hit. I honestly love this, how Apple's basically saying, like, all right, like, you guys have been riding our coattails for too long. Because I get it, right? A lot of people are like, okay, like, Apple's flexing its muscles, like, not cool on Google and all this stuff. And I don't know if you saw this, because I know you don't follow a lot of the actual like news and fundamentals. But Apple announced it's going to increase the cut it's taking on Facebook and Twitter and stuff when people make like in-app purchases. Say you want to spend $100 promoting a post on Facebook.
Yeah.
Now Apple is going to take 30% of that.
I thought it was always 30. Wait, hold on. Say that part again. Sorry. If they want to do what now?
if you want to pay for a promotional post on
Right.
Facebook or Twitter or
On
whatever,
Facebook or Twitter. Okay.
now Apple's taking like a bigger cut, whatever their cut was previously, or they're taking a bigger one now, and people
Why
are
is
like, all right,
Apple taking a cut if you want to post on Twitter? Because you're using their device?
yeah, like on an iPhone.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a little greedy.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. People are saying, but I think the flip side of that is like, think about how much growth in a lot of these companies, like take a company like Snapchat, for example.
Yeah.
Like there is no Snapchat without like an Apple iPhone, right? Like there is
Right.
on like Android, but like Apple plays a pivotal role
Absolutely.
in the growth in a lot of these companies
Absolutely.
and gives them like the platform to do so. And kind of the way I see it is like throughout the last 12 years or so since 08, like things have been pretty cushy for big tech in terms of like low interest rates, growth. So the companies have been kind of, you know, buddy, like, oh yeah, we're fine. Like, we're, you know, Facebook's growing, their app's growing, Apple's growing, we're all happy. And now things are getting a little bit more cutthroat, and Apple's turning around and saying, yeah, hey, we're gonna take some more money here.
Yeah. No, I mean, to me, that's like Xfinity saying, hey, since you made this post using our Wi-Fi, we're going to go ahead and charge you. That's how I kind of see it.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying I agree. Like I agree or disagree with Apple doing that, but my point in even bringing that up was like we know Facebook's already been getting hit over the past year with Apple's privacy changes. So like all these things, I don't know how anyone could expect a good quarter out of Facebook when we've already seen Snapchat's and Google's you know, earnings not be good, and Facebook's pretty similar. But the market knows this, right? The market knows, you know, what Facebook and Snapchat said. And so maybe Facebook's stock right now is trading at a fair price. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea in terms of fair value and all of that, right? But I'm short. That's all I know. And I'm waiting to take profits at 133.57. So if that helps my trade idea, I agree. Screw it. I did want to talk about support and resistance, if you'll allow me.
Sure.
All right. Support turns into resistance. Resistance turns into support. Class is in session, Aaron. And I appreciate you giving me this opportunity. And by that, I mean you asked me to come on. So you're welcome. But
wait, how do you spell isosceles? Oh, wait,
I don't know. I didn't graduate college. I don't know.
You think you need to spell isosceles to graduate college?
I mean, I didn't graduate high school either.
Really?
Yeah. I dropped out, got my GED.
Nice.
So my mom thought at the moment.
Stick it to the mom.
All right, no, real talk though. So you can see how you had resist. So we often, you know, if you're hanging out with us during live trading, you know, we talk about this all the time. We beat it to death because it matters so much. So it's just a little session here. And I'm in some trades. So I apologize if notifications go off. But here you can see resistance on the SPY in the first 20 minutes, right? 15 minutes, and the 20 minute finally pops. Then you wait for the retest, which is a support. So that resistance area of about 383 and some change turns into support. And then you can see a continued move to the next level, which was a previous close, which we've often said can be support or resistance for a short moment of time, all the time. Not all the time, most of the time, in my opinion. Seek time. Then you can see again here at that 385 level, you have resistance. It spikes down. Then it finally gets over it. And then it does a retest right here. So you can see resistance at 1030, then support 20 minutes later. And then you get another move to the upside. So that's one example on SPY from today. This isn't from a month ago, a year ago. It is from today. Support turns into resistance. Netflix is a trade that we went ahead and took. And you can see my arrows right here showing you where I took the trade. Same thing. Resistance here at 396-ish turns into support here, right? So you had resistance around 950, turned into support 20 minutes later, and to the upside we went. Same thing. Resistance here at $300 hold number. You know I love those. Resistance comes down, pops back up, turns into support. So resistance at 1020 turns into support at 1040. That's again 20 minutes later, and we're moving our way to the upside. I think I had one more, and I believe that might have been on Tesla, where you have again resistance here at the 950 area, pops up at 40 minutes later at 1030. Then it retests these two right here in these 20 minutes, and then it continues to make its move a little bit higher. It doesn't go too high because you've got resistance here at the 230 level, because if you go to look back, that's where it had resistance there as well. So just wanted to show you guys some examples. And it came back, rejected, but we popped right back above. So let's see how this price action works out. And I don't even know if this works on, oh, by the way, this is another good example. I'm going to go and bring up the 10-minute, which I'm looking to go short on UPS if I can get my price. But you see how on UPS chat, you had this level right here, the 170 area that acted as support right here. Then it clobbered through. You see that big candle, and then it tested it again. So that support turned into resistance, and then to the downside, we continued making our way. So again, just pay attention to support, resistance. The support resistance is not a to the penny, right? It's not a price. It's more of an area to where you can go ahead and see if you want to buy some stock, sell some stock, resistance areas, different things like that. So I put a tweet out on it, so I wanted to go ahead and share it with the class here today.
Yeah, good job, Professor Zunaid, who doesn't have a high school or college degree.
That's a great point, right? Classes in session with Dropout India. I don't know if that's a great name for me to brand myself as, but that's what we got.
India.
I'll go with Professor India, though. Can I go with that? I'll go with Professor India.
I love how, because I do think, like, honestly, in America, we kind of have a, like, anti-intellectual society, right? You know? Like, even from a young age, right? You're taught, like, all right, the jocks are cool, the nerds aren't.
Yep.
We love a good, like, dropout story. You know, like, this dropout made is now a millionaire, like, whatever. Yeah. And it's like, all right, like, I get it. You do not need a college degree.
Not in today's world.
Not in today's world. Not at all.
No, not in today's world.
And I hate people that are like elite, whatever, thinking like, oh, so-and-so, like, if they don't have a college degree, that, they can't do this, can't do that. Not true at all.
And that's what held me back.
Many times.
Yeah, and happy Diwali to you, Jesse. Appreciate that, brother. And that's what's kind of held me back, because I had people who love me and support me, right? And obviously we're getting a little derailed from stocks, but I am in a trade, so we're still doing stock stuff. But I have people who love me and care for me that are like, hey, man, like, you should get a degree. You should have some type of fallback, this, that, the other. You won't get a job. And, I think I'm doing okay, right? Like, I work for a great company like Benzinga. I work with the NBA in their esports division. Like, I'm doing just fine. But I will say, it is definitely tougher, to get it out the mud, if you will.
Yeah. So I think we can both agree, right? I think we can both agree it's like a good thing and a good idea.
Yeah.
To go get a college degree, to go do it. Like, you're gonna probably have an easier time if you're if you're blessed enough to be in a good position where you can go get a degree without being hundreds and thousands of dollars of in debt, like all that. Well, yeah, easy, Mike. That's because most recent millionaires are from freaking Dogecoin. But I can kind of see both sides where it's like I do see the problem of us essentially like not fetishizing. That's fetishizing not the right word, but like
it's not.
It's like we love a good like dropout story, and it's like, all right, maybe we shouldn't
Amen.
Like promote, like what's his name, like Peter Thiel, like his whole thing is he's trying to like pay kids to drop out of school.
No way.
Like, all right, yeah,
wow.
That's maybe
interesting.
like maybe we could encourage like people to get educated, but also it's not necessary.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I will say this, by the way. It looks like we're about to take a little bit of nice Applebee's profit on Meta, and then we'll check back on Google here in a second. But forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, no, my mom was, my parents were very supportive of me just doing what I wanted to do. So like it went from, hey, you should be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, to, okay, if you can't be a doctor, you should be a dentist. And I'm like, Mom, they're kind of the same thing, but I get where you're going with the sentiment of it in terms of hierarchy. By the way, just took some profit on Meta, so now we're focused goes to Google.
If you can't be a dentist, be a chiropractor. All right, if you can't be a chiropractor, be a physical therapist. All right, but how about this? What about I saw this on Twitter. So is it true that now the bar's been set too high for Indian kids, right? Like now being the CEO of a company isn't enough. Now parents are like, you have to be the leader of a former oppressive,
the prime minister.
You have to be the prime minister of our former oppressing country.
Yeah, dude, it's insane, man. And thankfully I'm at the age where my parents are like not worried about my living, if you will, because thankfully I'm okay there. But now they're like, all right, bro, when are you giving us grandkids? And I'm like, you want that before marriage? Is that the type of reputation you want your son to have? But obviously they mean, when am I getting married, right? So like the goalpost is being moved on shit I need to worry about. And by the way, we're still waiting for a Google to go ahead and take profits at 97.12.
All right, well, you're watching your trades. I want to talk about this. So like what depending, I don't know if there are any, young people watching a stream in terms of like high school kids or 18-year-olds or anything, but depending on your career aspirations, like if you are literally just looking for financial security, right? Like if you want to be a lawyer, right? You should probably go to college after high school. If you want to be a doctor, you should probably go to college after high school. If your main goal is just getting a good degree and becoming, financially stable, getting a good income, you should 100% go to a trade school right out of high school. You essentially like either like for free or get paid to get training by the time you're like 19, 20, like Jay Rice is saying, whether you're in a contractor, a plumber, an electrician, you're going to be making six figures while your peers, your 20-year-old peers, are sitting in like English 3000, right? You can start building investments, like all this stuff at a very young age. If I was talking to a young person who told me I don't really have a set career I want to do, I just want to make some good money, I'd say don't go to college, go to a trade school. In 5 years, you'll be a homeowner. Your peers will be graduating college looking for a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any thoughts on Chinese stocks today? So let me. I'll pull my Benzinga Pro.
Go ahead, please.
I'll pull my Benzinga Pro. Pulled back up. And I was talking about this. I pointed this out. I'm curious your thoughts on this, Zunaid.
What's up?
I thought this was really interesting yesterday on Baba. The stock didn't go down really at all too much. I think at the most it was down like 1% yesterday. But the volume was just absolutely insane. The volume was at 70 million shares traded. Mondays was 100 million, but that's, Mondays the stock was down 15%. So the huge increase in volume makes sense there. The huge volume increase yesterday for me when the stock didn't go down that much was like a sign like, that's interesting. Like maybe that's the capitulation point here on Baba. And now the stock's trading up 10% today. Across the board, Chinese names are hot. And it's not just like a little bounce, right? That these things went down 20% and now they're up 3%. This thing's up 10% today. That's showing me a lot of investors might be like, all right, we overreacted, and then they're coming back up here and scooping some of these names. I don't know your thoughts on it.
So, sorry, I'm just dealing with Slack here. My thoughts on this. I don't know about the macro stuff. I've already made that very clear, right? But to me, when I see a news like that and we're going to go ahead and take a dip, but then we're continuing to kind of slowly grind a little bit higher and we don't continually. So, for example, I went ahead and short. You see all these arrows, so you can't see my chart. And I got to respond to chat Slack here in a minute. But you see all these arrows because I was shorting when the news came out. Then the next day, I'm ready to short again, but you see less activity because it just could not go ahead and get towards the lows. So I lost a little bit of money here in the afternoon session. And then you continue to rise. So it's like when you've got that type of bad news and the stock is staying flat, right? Because typically sell-offs happen 2-3 days, right? Kind of, some people have a rule of like, hey, let the bleeding continue for 2-3 days, and then you can go ahead and buy into it. Clearly, that's not what's kind of working out here, and you have a little bit of movement to the upside. So basically, when bad news like that comes out and you only get a one-day sell-off and it's just flat the next day, to me, that says, all right, buyers have stepped in and they're kind of holding here. Let's see which way we go. And the way that we went is clearly to the upside here today because it didn't even get anywhere near breaking yesterday's lows. Let's go ahead and kind of take a look at the daily. You can see a big gap down, right? And obviously now we're closing the gap here. So now let's see how it behaves at around $70 or so. Matter of fact, I'm glad we kind of take a look at this because, I love my technicals, or at least I tell myself I love my technicals. Here's the gap, or here was the gap rather, all the way from there to where do we open? Like we open right here. And now that gap is about to be filled here in about 2-3 seconds. Now, where does it go? To me, I'm looking to short near 70 if I'm in this trade, but I believe I'm already losing some money here. Or actually, I'm in the money here. I think I'm losing somewhere else. Am I losing on UPS? Yeah, I'm short UPS here because of that 170 level. I was hoping to get a little scalp on it, but might lose $60. That's okay. But hopefully that answers your question from how I see the price action after news and then also how I see it on the chart as well. There's a question in the chat from Luis Hamilton. I took Mitch's trade on BA and I used Ryan's 150 level for a put. I'm up on 60 options. I'm sorry. You're up on the options you purchased for 60 cents. I have 170 put in profit, but the expiration is in 1028. Do I take profit? Well, I'm going to go ahead and say what everyone says. I'll tell you what I would do. I can't tell you what you should do with your money. Looking at these levels, that is a beautiful 9-point dip from the 150 level. Matter of fact, you can see I went ahead and took the same trade. Shout out to Ryan. I went ahead and shorted at 149.89 here. I would absolutely go ahead and take profit because that expiration comes in 2 days, right? If tomorrow it bounces up $2 or so, now you're only in the profit by maybe 30-40% less. So I would go ahead and absolutely go ahead and lock in these gains. No question about it. Yeah, I wouldn't even try to do like a debit spread, this, that, the other. Lock in the gains. Let's ring the register and let's come back to visit for another trade that might work out a little bit better. By the way, these tips and trips and these conversations that we're having is exactly what Ryan is going to do with Humble Trader today at 2:00. So if you guys have not already, I'm going to go ahead and pitch that here if it's okay with you, AB.
Yeah.
Hey, who went ahead and we about to fight. We about to fight, Alyssa. Alyssa and I are about to fight. No, not deleted, but it was pinned because the webinar is today and we've got something else pinned. Alyssa, if you can hear me, we gonna fight. But anyway, there's a tweet. If you guys could go ahead and help me save my job, that'd be great. But there's a tweet. If you want to engage with it, retweet it. But more importantly, the webinar is today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's a YouTube link, so make sure you go ahead and say notify me, so that way when we go live with that webinar, you will be right there. Why am I fighting Alyssa? Because we had a webinar that was a pinned tweet. It's very important. That's okay. It's fine. Alyssa runs Twitter. I will follow her lead. I will do as she says. Let's come back on my trading, though. Let's see what UPS is doing. Is it taking my money? You bet it is. In about 20 cents, it's going to take $60 for me. That's always good. Where Google, in about, hopefully, a few cents, it's going to give me $49. So almost a break even with 2 trades here. But of course, the UPS is closer to my stop loss than Google is to my take profit. Bada bang bang. Chitty bang bang. Skitty pop pop. You feel me? By the way, my condolences to your account because you decided to trade Snap with me for tradition and you went calls and I went puts. I don't think we updated the chat on that, but you clearly lost again.
Yes, no fight, Alyssa.
I won't fight
huge
Alyssa.
Volume and price change.
Should the pre-market be my... What was the ticker they were talking about? I think it was about... I mean, you're at the pre-market. Here's how I see it. If you were to enter this trade, would you go ahead and see a better risk reward? To me, get out the trade. Don't wait for another $10-20 maybe when it's like, bro, get out. Just get out. Or if you want, set a stop loss at 142. So if it breaks 142, you go ahead and get out. How about that?
Sorry, I was reading an article about his art press says, what happened to Bree? I'm right here. Right here. I was reading an article, so I was distracted. All right. What other stocks? I like Burke B right now. Junaid, what are your thoughts on Burke B?
Is that the very expensive one, or is that A?
Give me some levels on Burke B. No, Burke A is the really expensive one. I can't afford Burke
A. You can afford Burke B?
Mm-hmm.
Like the 5800 one?
No. You're looking at something else. Burke.B.
Maybe it's the dot. I was like, damn. I need to get pay what you getting paid, brother.
I can afford fractional shares of pretty much any stock out there, to be honest.
You sure can, my man. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. Taking a look at levels. Let's go ahead to the hourly.
Give me some of your famous support and resistance levels, Professor.
Absolutely. So Professor India here. This is how certain videos start. But you can see resistance here on the hourly was around the 291 area, right? We're above that. We're actually testing it right now. So if you can get a close on the hourly, 15-minute, whatever, it's worth a shot to go ahead and poke above and go long here. The next area that I would go ahead and look to sell would possibly be the 295 and then the 300s because you know I love those whole numbers there. Looks like Meta went ahead and broke VWAP. That's what I'm talking about, baby. We gonna get to that in a minute. But that's what I'm looking at. Look, you got to clear it. Look left. And unlike driving, you ain't got to look right. You just got to look left and see where your levels are. And then I guess you can look right and figure out, how much you're going to risk and things like that. But whatever. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that you've got earnings coming up at the end of the month. It's Halloween. that has nothing to do with anything, but it is Halloween. And so make sure you just are in a position where in case they report favorably or not, you can go ahead and let's go ahead and block this user and, tolerate the risk that you're going to be dealing with. But that's what I've got. 291, looking like we're moving to the upside on that. Let's see if we get a close above it. Looks like we are. We might actually be getting a retest. Matter of fact. So would you look at, AB, look at this. Resistance from a few days ago popped above, and now we found support. But will it hold? Because right now it's basing there. If it continues to base above the 290.50, 291, whatever you want to call it, let's see if it continues making its way to the upside. But pop above, retest. Where do we go from here? No one knows. And UPS, so close to taking my money, but we are now rejecting. Google, that much closer to giving me my money. So two trades. Meta went ahead and broke the lows, by the way, or broke the VWAP, as Tiny Pie mentioned. What's up?
Here, help me out here. So I don't really do this that often, but I'm just trying this out on like a very small. Oh, never mind. All right, cool. I was just trying it out on a very small trade. So I just got I filled a put credit spread.
Bro, your DMs there look like my DMs when people tell me to shill certain cryptos.
Look, my snap call option expired.
Oh no. You want to show mine for a 2% gain?
Oh, you only got 2% on that put?
200.
2%? You made
200. I made 200%. 200% plus. I don't know the exact amount, but I'm happy to go check for you if you'd like.
All right, so this is what I did. I bought the 279 put. I sold the 280. So I think as long as the Qs.
Wait, you bought that? Wait. Go back. What? So you bought a lower. You sold a higher strike. What are you hoping the stock does, or the ticker? In this case, the Qs.
I'm hoping the Qs stays above 280 throughout the week.
Okay, so you did a credit. You did a credit spread. Okay.
Yes.
I've never done that in my life. I've always done the other way, the debit spread. That's why I was confused.
Well, hey, here's how I see it.
Talk to me, baby.
We're going to get some big reports tomorrow. Apple, Amazon. The consensus is the reports aren't going to be good. My gut, I think like my initial thought would be, all right, the Apple, Amazon's going to report. The Qs aren't going to be a good. And I'm doing the opposite. I'm fading myself.
Yep.
Is that a good investment strategy?
But should you be fading your fade?
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering too. Like, I don't know. Like, I really
I think we should play meta earnings
today. I've literally they're not going to be good.
So then go puts. I'll go calls.
I know, but I'm saying the market reaction might be fine to the not good report. Like, we know the report's not.
So then go calls. I'll go puts.
But the report's not going to be good.
So then go puts. I'll go calls.
All right.
Fuck it. Man, were you serious? All right, let's pull it.
Well,
up.
I'll buy one very
because these are going to be more expensive. That's why.
Yeah, but these already are. These are way.
Yeah, these are pretty expensive. Yeah, especially for YOLO. I don't do that anymore. That's like the old me. Okay,
dude, you can buy $100. Like, if Facebook drops 25% again today after earnings, holy shit.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play these. I take it back. It's too expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think like part of me.
I shall not waste my money.
I just know how much Facebook equates for in different pensions and different big funds and portfolio. I'd be surprised if they let this thing tank another 25%. Like, people would be kind of fucked if that happened.
I don't use Facebook. I also don't use Snapchat. But I'm curious how much political spending went into Facebook to help them this past quarter. Because remember, that's kind of the quarter they're reporting in. Obviously, this quarter, in terms of October and November, yes, that'll be ramped up a little bit as well. Because, by the way, make sure you go out and vote if you're, allowed to. See if this Google doesn't just come on back down. You know what? Chat, should I just take profit? Because it's going to bother the heck out of me, especially because I'm going to get stopped out of UPS. Probably.
100% super SPAC, man. Apple is going to be affected adversely by the strong dollar and international sales. The question is, how big is that impact going to be? What's the market reaction to that impact? I Someone asked about Ford. I freaking love Ford down here.
You said you love Ford?
Down here. Well, actually, last time I looked at it, the stock was at like $11. Now it's up to 13.
Well,
But
would you
either
look
way,
at that? Resistance at 13.
I think like if you were looking at I have no clue in terms of like a swing trade or trading it, but I think if you were looking at Ford as a long-term investment, I would put a lot of money that, you know, you buy the stock now and in 5 years the stock's going to be higher than $13. I like Ford. I like Ford as a good exposure to, like, I'd rather buy a Ford than Rivian right now.
See, you may have said that in 2016. And then approximately 3 years later, it was more than 50% down. And then let's go 5 years later, it was at break even.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? But
that's fair.
What do I know about fundamentals? I don't know anything. Matter of fact, a buddy of mine hit me up 2 weeks ago and was like, hey man, teach me about stocks. I'm like, all right, bet. Like, what's up? We can have a conversation. He's like, yeah, how do you read a balance sheet? I was like, how do you read a what? It's like, bro, I don't know that.
Do that.
Yeah. I don't know what a 10K is. I just know what a K9 is. That's about it. And I know when you see one, you run.
Yeah.
UPS, man. Come on, don't stop me out, baby. Don't do that. Don't do that to me. If this trade turns around and turns into a green bean for me, I'd be so happy. Come on, baby. Show me the money. Boom. Boom, boom. What you got going on this gloomy day behind you, pal?
I don't know. I'm hungry. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for food after the show here in about 25 minutes. Maybe some Shake Shack. It's been a minute since I've had that. How's Shake Shack's stock doing, by the way?
I don't know. Is it SHAK?
Oh, wait. Holy shit. What? My shit never even got filled.
Your queues never got filled?
Yeah.
Don't you suck.
I'm canceling that. All right. All right. I want to dabble in in some sort of a spread, like a high probability. Like, I'm not going to make that much money, but I'll just get like a free $15 for putting some sort of spread out there. Right. I'll do it on Facebook. All right. Here, I'll share my screen. All right. So I'm going to take the high volatility, high implied volatility, take advantage of this.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and buy I'm going to go ahead and sell a 113 put for what? Wow, that's incredible. The 113 put is 113 right now. Has that ever happened?
I don't know.
Wow.
I'll be honest. Wow.
Shit. No, I want to buy a put now. I want to buy a cheaper one. So, oh, holy shit. That's not a good expected profit and loss. $86 I could lose to win 14. But that's what we're talking about. We're talking about making a high probability trade. Like, I don't think Facebook's going to go down that much. I don't know. I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, it's just too expensive. But it also shows how much of a crazy move it's going to be.
But also, like, the thing is like, I'm saying it's not worth it for me on one contract to like potentially lose $86 to make 14. But if I was super convicted that, like, okay, I think there's like 0% chance Meta falls more than 15% from now and Friday, and you did that on a larger scale, right? Say you had a lot of money and you did that with, 1,000 contracts. Now all of a sudden you're talking about making $1,400 for like a high probability trade. Of course, you're risking a lot more. You could potentially lose in that scenario $86,000, but more than likely than not, you're gonna make a quick 14,000 or 1,400 or whatever, and that'd be that.
Do you think the risk reward is worth it? Are you gonna pull the trigger? Bless you.
Thank you all. No, I don't think the risk reward. That's what I'm saying is I don't think the risk reward is worth it for me to do it on one contract to make $14. But if I had a bunch of money and you could potentially make more than that, again, you'd be risking more, but it's a high probability trade. Altria earnings tomorrow, ticker MO. I haven't looked at that one in a while.
If you got them, smoke them. That's hilarious.
MO is supposed to be somewhat recession resistant, right? People still buy ciggies in recession time, so could be interesting.
Yeah. I've saved a lot of money since I stopped gambling on earnings. I was such a degenerate, bro. What I wanted to do is have it be like, oh, I'll go ahead and risk $100 on this earnings. If I don't make money, cool, I risk 200 on the next one. If I don't make money, cool, I risk 400 on the next one, so on and so forth. But then I was like, you are one dumb person. So that I didn't do that. Yeah, listen to Shelly. Don't go into stocks just because you feel like it. That's how you lose money. Have a plan. I agree. Shelly,
I do have a plan. My plan is
your plan's to lose money.
My plan is to try a new option strategy that's going to be more high probability, less YOLO-y. And I'm fine losing a little bit of money as I try to learn this new strategy. Let's you know what? Let's do it on the. How about this? I'll do it on Berk B. I'll sell a credit put spread on Berk. Well, let's see what I'm working with here first. All right. So I don't think Berk B is going to drop. I don't think it's going to drop at all. So I'm going to sell this put 285. I'm going to buy this one. Make 29. Oh, holy cow. All right, I need to do some more studying and figure out how I can get better spreads here, because it doesn't make that much sense to me. Why I would put on $221 in risk to potentially make $29.
Well, that's the whole point, is that when you do these type of things, since your probability is so in favor of you making money, you're risking more is the whole point. Whereas a YOLO, it's, a 50-50, or if you go far out the money, you're risking less, but if you hit it, you hit big. That's literally what you're doing. That's what Nick Shaheen does.
I know, but I'm saying in that specific example, like, that's not even that out there in terms of probability. The fact that Berk B could easily go down 2-3%.
So then flip it.
The next 3
so
days.
Flip the strategy. Sell what you're buying, buy what you're selling, and you could possibly, I don't know how the math works out, have it be in your favor if you believe that.
Do it on BABA. That's a good idea with a lot of increased volatility.
IV, yeah. Good call, Jim.
So like I would probably do it on the. I think both ways. Like, I don't think BABA's gonna go up too much. I don't think it's gonna go down too much. So here, let me see it on the short side first. So if I'm gonna sell the.
By the way, BABA filled the gap and down it comes a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but that's about a 70-cent move to the downside. Speaking of which, maybe I'll bet on some hockey today. Who just slacked me?
Who did?
Well, my slacks have been blowing up today.
I went to a hockey game last night. Red Wings game.
The Red Wings? Nice, bro. You get tickets or you pay for them?
I got tickets. My buddy got tickets. We had really good tickets, actually.
Nice. This is your roommate, buddy?
Yeah.
Nice.
I spilled. I was walking in the into the row, and it was very like tight section, and there was like a little kid, this like friendly grandpa and his kids were with us, or not his kids, his grandkids were like sitting right next to us, and they were. Wait, you have just $220 in your account. So much time you spent already. Interested to know how much you make by end of day. I mean, I have no active trades on there. I pulled a lot of money out of my Robinhood account because I knew if it was sitting in there, I'd be more willing to just like trade it on options, and I was losing money doing that versus like I was like, all right, I'll pull this and put it into my real investment account where I just buy some of the names I like long term.
AB also like that trade for a living, so like he's not here to make shit ton of money. He's here to have a little bit of fun.
That's why I was losing money, is because I would like put an option trade out there on Robinhood and then go back to working and not have time to like track it or trade full time. And next thing you know, I was down a lot. But my story from last night, I was walking into the like row and it's like very tight, and I knocked over this kid's like soda. And there's like a little 5-year-old kid, and like,
oh man.
It wasn't bad because there was like a lid on the soda, but it dropped on his seat and started to spill, and you could tell he was like anxious about it. Like, got up, and I had to go scramble to find some napkins from someone sitting near us, was helping him clean it up, and like we were in the front row of the section, so the whole time I'm just thinking like this whole section behind me is watching all this go on.
They're watching you bully a little kid.
Yeah, they were like, oh my god, who's this like random guy who's now like, and then, but it was funny that his grandpa was like, thanks for cleaning that up. Like, I was like, of course. Like, I was the one who fucking spilled. Like, I was like, yeah, like, what am I gonna do? Like, spill soda on your kid and then just walk away and not do anything? Like, that'd be kind of.
You'd be surprised how many people would, my friend. By the way, Google went ahead and hit our targets, and now it's at VWAP. Let's see what it does there. Taking a look at UPS. What I'm afraid on UPS on my trade here is now that if this 170 area turns into support, which was obviously resistance early on. So I'm not going to lie. This trade is not in my favor, but let's see what the SPY is doing. See, SPY is a little bit away from support, so I'm hoping the SPY will dip a point, which will help my UPS short. But I'm not feeling good about it, Aaron. I'm really not.
That's fine. You don't have to feel good about every trade. Also, Rahul, I have a day trading restriction placed on my account. So any trade I make today, I'll be locked in for tomorrow. Interested to know how much. That's fair though. I like the pressure Rahul's putting on. He's saying, look, you only got 220 in your account. Let's see you do something with it. I'll against my instincts, I'll entertain your challenge, Rahul. We'll make some money today. All right.
I've made 200 today. Does that make me a great trader?
Maybe.
You know, I've got receipts, Aaron.
You know what? Everything's. I don't know. All right. I'll do that. We'll do this. Why don't we start with some? QQQ calls that expire at the end of this week?
Bro, you can't make money today because you can't sell today.
I know, but the value of my portfolio could end the day higher than it is. It might open up lower tomorrow.
Sure.
I actually don't know. I'm running short. I feel like on any actually good trade ideas. Short Dave and Buster, like buy some Dave and Buster's puts maybe. But what's gonna make it move by the end of the week? That's what I'm. This is actually a good deal. $38 puts that expired this Friday on Dave and Buster's for only 59 cents. Like, this thing could easily open up down. I'm gonna buy one of those. Oh, shit. I got filled. All right. I'm filled at 60 cents. All right, Rahul. You won. You're forcing me to make moves. One play long put filled. And just for fun, we'll do a little TQQQQ call that expires Friday.
Play just moved $1 to the upside.
Actually?
No. No, you shouldn't get a margin account unless you're over 25,000, in my opinion.
I think it's fine depending on like what you're doing.
Because to me, if you have less than that, you can day trade as many times as you want as long as you use the cash that's in your account.
All right, Dave and Buster's. This chart looks toppy to me.
This chart looks toppy to me.
All right, I'm in on some TQQ calls as well. Those are the $23.50 calls that expire this Friday. My thesis there is, again, I just think the expectation is for Facebook's earnings to not be great, for Amazon's earnings to not be great, for Apple's earnings to not be great. And I think even if we get confirmation of all those things, like we saw today, doesn't necessarily mean the market's going to have these big moves to the downside. So what could that mean is that a bunch of people, I'm speculating here, I have no fucking clue, but I'm thinking that maybe a lot of people out there saw all the earnings this week of Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google, and said, okay, they're not going to be good. I'm going to buy puts on the Qs because it's going to move down. And then now they're seeing, all right, the earnings reports weren't that great. I was right about that, but the stock's not moving down that much. So there might be some short people forced to cover their shorts.
You're correct. He is using Robinhood.
Yeah.
You're getting judged.
That's fine. I mean, I don't judge people based on what brokerage they use. If you want to judge me on what brokerage, again, this is my specific, like I mentioned, I pulled the majority of my money out of my Robinhood account for my long-term investment account. This is not what I use. Give it to you?
Yeah.
I will say though, if you wanted to make Robinhood your like long-term investment portfolio, honestly, it's probably better for that than for trading. Like if you,
of course.
They do make it really easy. For example, like if I just go to the SPY and say, okay, I want to make a recurring investment it starts on the 27th, frequency every week on Thursday. It's going to take it straight out of my Advanced Plus banking account from Bank of America, I want $50, review order, submit. Now, every single Thursday at 11 a.m., $50 is going to be taken out of my account and put in a SPY. You can turn on dividend reinvestment. So every time you get a dividend from that SPY position, it'll go back in there. Like, that's it makes it pretty freaking easy to do, right? Like,
It does. But keep in mind, you can set this up on any broker. But
I was just gonna
the
say,
UI
I know you can.
that helps you.
I was gonna say, I know you can do that on E-Trade or wherever.
Yes,
that's super freaking easy. Like for some, and for if I were to, if that's all I was looking for my brokerage, right? And like you said, like you can do it on other ones. Why not do it on the one where it's easiest? Why not do it on the one that gives you the prettiest layout when you're looking at your portfolio? You know, all this. All right. Wow. Q's not moving in my direction. Should have went short. But hey, this is not a this is a position I'm holding overnight. So
maybe it's helping your play though.
What do you
got puts on play?
Yeah, plays continues to move lower. So hey.
By the way, your value went down $2. But
my dad won't let me use Robinhood. Robinhood is great for options, and yeah, that's the other thing. I don't know.
No,
Again,
come on.
There might be other. Well, here's the thing. There might be other platforms that do this for you as well, Zunaid. But I do like this little visual tool they give you. Right, if I want to buy this call, sell this call, it gives you this like, all right, here's where it plays at expiration. You'd be up $56. You'd be down here. This kind of built-in options calculator, I think, is pretty cool.
Yeah. That is kind of cool. By the way, you do have other platforms that give you that. But again, it's the UI that people love. And the market is coming to the downside. Let's go. Helping out all of our shorts. Baba filled that gap and came down a whole point. What did do?
What happened?
What did happened? Boo boo.
All right, I've doubled down, buying more calls at a lower price. That's
Oh,
called dollar. That's called dollar cost averaging, Zunaid. Look it up.
I can't believe you and I don't have a podcast. But let's be honest.
People would lose a lot of money listening.
Yes, but that's the beauty of it. People would listen to us because they would fade us. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Don't say they didn't change anything. They gave us one little cool tool right there in 4 years.
Nice.
Took them a while.
Well, let's see.
It's so over. We're done. It's so over. The market's done. We're cooked.
Well, you know who is cooked? It's Robinhood. They were at a high price of $84, bro. $84, and now they're trading at $11.17.
Hey, $11 is a lot higher than I would have guessed. And the stock's up almost 30% over the last 3 months. The low is
like $8 or something. I was wrong.
No. Do you know what the 52-week low is? It's 681.
Oh, dude, I can't believe it's not 666. I would have bought shit on that.
If you would have made me guess what Robinhood's stock was at without looking at it, I would have guessed $8, and it's at 11, so it's doing better than I would have thought.
Are you shorting it?
No. Because I don't. To me, like, I don't want to go short a stock that's already down 71%. Not to mention that from a chart perspective, like it looks like it kind of found a bottom. It found some consolidation. Look, we hit around $6 June 2022. So we've been trading at this level for the past like 4 months. You're not going to tell me things that have started to look better for Robinhood from like a business perspective. If anything, more people have left the platform. Probably less new users are coming in as the market stayed pretty weak.
Yeah.
But the stock's starting to come back up, which to me is a sign that the market's basically saying, all right, we got a little oversold. We found a good consolidation spot. So I don't think, to me, there's not that much upside potential to going short Robinhood at this point, right? I would have loved to have been short Robinhood from here before that 70% move to the downside. But now that we're down here, nah, not about it.
No, I hear you. But look, I got to go do my job before, someone from Benzinga yells at me, but I've got an affiliate call later on at 1. But chat, continue to hang out because in 1 hour, we're going to have Humble Trader and Ryan Faluna have a lovely webinar about not just using Benzinga Pro, not just about how Humble Trader uses Benzinga Pro to be a profitable trader, but also just tips and tricks from her, right? The indicators she likes, the price action tips and tricks, the levels, the time frame she uses, how she finds her stocks, anything and everything. And of course, the chat can always get involved with questions and all the other good stuff as well. And you love Ryan Faluna. He's a great guy. The dude is a lovely host, so it'll be a lot of fun. I know Aaron's going to be there. Him and I are going to be in the backstage producing after he gets his wing stop.
After I get my
Yeah, where's my
check.
package, bro?
I don't know.
Every time I see any Benzinga swag, I think of you and I get mad.
Fair. I'll get you some swag. I'll get the audience some swag too. Fumble trading if trading.
If I was the one doing the podcast, fumble. Wait, are you making fun of our podcast, or I don't understand? Was that the name of our podcast, or was he trying to make fun of Humble Trader? Don't do that. Don't do that. That's mean.
No, well now I see. I don't know.
Oh, he mixed Faluna and Humble, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, I'm out. I gotta go on this call. We'll see you guys at 2. I better see you there. I'll know who's there and who's not. And if you're not there, I'll be upset. All right, I'm out. See you later, pal.
Peace. All right, thank you, Zunaid, for hopping on Benzinga Live with us today. Always good to catch up with my man Zunaid. You need Netflix to puke. Netflix has been freaking strong. I don't know about today. I haven't looked. But like the past, I saw it trading in like the 290s. Oh, holy cow. It got up to 300 today. Yeah, I mean, I bet a lot of people, and let me pull up my chart here. I bet a lot of people are looking at Netflix here as a short trade just because it's gone up so much so quickly. Basically gone up in like a straight line from 180 to 300. I've talked about Netflix a lot, stock on the show over the past few weeks as it's been outperforming the overall market. I actually bought some shares below 200, which has been by far like the best trade I've made in 2022 so far. But what was interesting there was compared to other big tech names, Netflix got beaten down the most, right? Like Facebook's up there with it. I think at its highs, Facebook was down like 60, 70%. But at one point, Netflix was down like 85%. And that's why I started looking at it. And you start looking at what happened to a lot of the big tech stocks during the 2000.com bubble crash, right? Your Amazons, your whatever. The ones that were real companies that survived that, that's about what happened. They got 85% drawdowns. And it's like, oh, wow, like Netflix really, and you had real value investors coming in and buying at 180 because they were like, hey, even without growth, this company produces enough cash per quarter that this is a sound investment down here, right? And now, looking at the daily chart, maybe you might be able to see it more on a weekly chart, just kind of how drastic and quick this move has, or on a monthly chart, has been to the upside. I think you're getting a lot of people coming in here and saying, oh, Netflix is up 27% over the last month alone. All right, let me buy some puts. I'm not saying that's not a good idea. Like, I could easily see Netflix coming down from here or whatever. But here's the thing, is if it's a crowded trade, right, if a lot of people, right, are out there, it's never that easy. It's never easy enough for, just a bunch of retail traders to come in, buy the same puts on the same stock, and make a bunch of money. If anything, I was talking about chart-wise, how it looked like Netflix was going to try to fill this gap, get at least back up to this 337 level. Now, am I saying it's going to go straight up there? It's never going to dip down before it gets there? No, of course not. We could be down 3% tomorrow. I could see that happening. But I could also see Netflix keep edging higher tomorrow, right? We talked about the trend being your friend. So if Netflix keeps edging higher tomorrow, maybe even the day after that on Friday, and then you get a 5% gap, a 5% sell-off on people taking profits. Like, it's just, again, like I look at this and I think, okay, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Netflix would have a little sell-off, people taking profits. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to be that easy. I could easily see this gap getting filled on the upside, and then you get a little sell-off. I don't know. Although also watching that gap to the downside as well. Yeah, I mean, fill this gap back down here at least to 215, 100%. You can make the argument, that the stock wants to do that. But chart-wise, I mean, it doesn't take like a technical analysis genius to look at this chart and show you that since we've found the bottom down here, you've been in a bullish trend. That's been the trend in Netflix. There go the Qs. God damn it. Look at the 5-mini chart. Oh! Oh! If I would have bought puts instead of calls, my Q position would be ripping right now. Well, good thing it wasn't that big of a position. All right, Rahul, you win this time. You win this round, buddy. I'll come back for my revenge. Hey, on the plus side, my Dave and Buster's puts are in the green. On the bright side. Holy cow. All right, guys. 12:59. You know what time it is. Time to wrap it up over to Mitch. Mitch will be talking to Josh Saylor, partner and co-founder at Blue Zone Wealth Advisors, as well as Jason Brown, the market coach and options trader at 145. Do not go anywhere. Stock market movers coming up with Money Mitch right now. This stream will redirect you over there automatically. Without further ado, that'll be a wrap for us on Benzinga Live today, Wednesday, October 26th. Had a great time hanging out with you guys. Please smash the like if you have not already. Yeah, I bought literally at the peak. I mean, and by the way, again, I have to hold these till tomorrow morning. Anything could happen. This market's a crazy thing, you know. We have no clue. But yeah, hindsight, I should have bought some SQQQ calls instead of the TQQQ calls. But hey, even if I bought it at the top, that's a good skill to have too, right? Good timing at least, or bad timing. But alrighty, y'all. We'll be back tomorrow. Peace and love. Till then, stay green, stay happy.